Hello everyone, welcome to my channel Rahman Tutorials. In this video we are going to learn chapter 6 class 10 life process part 8. Wake up buddy. Don't worry, it's me. Do you know which system of your body takes the extra liquid out of your body? No. Did you know most of the food that we eat also contains lot of liquid? No. But you don't know which part of your body throws the extra fluid out? Imagine what will happen if extra fluid stay trapped in your body. So you think a blast will occur? You tell me. If your body can't get rid of extra liquid, right? It is not happen like that. The body has certain parts which are taking care of extra liquid. All these are parts of the urinary system, also called the excretory system. Let's understand more. The main parts of urinary system includes two kidneys, ureters, bladder and the urethra. Kidneys are two bean-shaped organs. All the body blood passes through it and it filters the blood and waste liquid is changed into urine. The kidney is made up of several small cells called nephrons. They are like small filters. They keep all the nutrients and good blood contained and converts waste into urine. From the kidney, this urine goes into two very thin tubes are called ureters. From the ureters, it goes into a balloon-like organ called the bladder. When the bladder becomes full, then you feel like going to the washroom to pee. From the bladder, it passes out of the body from the part called urethra. Oh, it seems your bladder is full too, buddy. Want to go? Can you hold it for some time? There is muscle lining around the bladder called sphincter. It stops and holds the flow of urine until you reach the washroom. Okay? Go. Empty your bladder now. The job of the kidney is to filter blood. Basically, the dirty blood is entering and the clean blood is leaving, and all of the waste products are taken from the dirty blood exist as urine. Words like dirty blood and clean blood are not particularly scientific, but for your convenience, we don't need to be think about it. Cross section of the kidney. The outermost part is called cortex, the next part is medulla, next is pelvis. The artery that supplies blood is known as a renal artery. Renal is just an adjective which describes things to do with the kidney. The blood which leaves kidney is known as the renal vein, and the tube which exits kidneys with all of the waste product is known as ureters, and the ureter connect to the bladder. From the bladder through urethra, waste materials can exit the body. Inside the kidneys, we got lots and lots and lots of tiny structures known as nephrons. Inside each kidney, there might be millions of nephrons. Let's look at the structure of nephron. Now, see the blood is entering. The blood which is coming from the branch of renal artery, which is relatively wide compared to the blood vessel which is leaving this area, that will eventually connect up to the renal vein. In between all of this, there is a capillary network known as glomerulus. And what happens is, because of high blood pressure inside the glomerulus, the area surrounding this is known as Bowman's capsule. The Bowman's capsule or the renal capsule and the high pressure forces materials to move from the glomerulus into the Bowman's capsule. Once the material enters the Bowman's capsule, it continues on through the tubule. Let's have a little bit of closer look how materials move into the tube across from the glomerulus into the Bowman's capsule. Notice these tiny spaces between them. These spaces are really small, meaning that red blood cells can't get through. They are too large. Similarly, for large structures like proteins are mostly can't get through. Smaller structures, however, molecules like urea can get through. Now, you might be thinking this is the job done. We called it as the toxic materials has get through the Bowman's capsule. The rest of blood can get continuous under circulation and the job is done. Unfortunately, it's not the end of the story because small things fit through materials which are quite useful enters the nephron through Bowman's capsule. Things like salts, glucose and water are going to enter. This part is known as ultrafiltration. The movement of materials from the glomerulus into the Bowman's capsule is called ultrafiltration. So, in order to get useful materials back there is going to be a next step. Now, these materials going through the tubule. Now, let us see what exactly going to happen in the next section. The blood capillary is represented in red and nephron is represented in green. We can see all the materials in nephron. Some of them are useful, but some of them are not useful. These materials move from the nephron to blood capillary via active transport. Some of the materials has moved, some of them have not. In the blood capillary, we will have glucose, salts, water are being reabsorbed from the nephron. The materials left behind, we have left urea. One of the main purposes is to get rid of urea. We will also have this excess salts and excess water. Our body needs salts and water but in correct amount. So only the excess materials are left in the nephron which eventually leaves the body. Notice here that there is absolutely no glucose left in the nephron. Your body works really hard to get glucose into its system and is not going to lose any even through the urine. Glucose may be present in the urine. It may be happen due to any source alignment medical condition. Now, the whole process of taking back of the useful materials into the blood is called selective reabsorption. Now let us quickly look at the various parts to be labeled at nephron. Glomerulus, Bowman's capsule or renal capsule, and next the two tube areas are known as proximal convoluted tubule and distal convoluted tubule, and this loop is known as the loop of Henle. The loop has two parts, descending limb and the ascending limb. Descending limb is the part where the materials falls down and the ascending limb is the part where it rises up. Next is the collecting tubule, and this is where all the materials from the tubule is going to end up, and from there it goes down and eventually exits the kidney through the ureters and can then exit the body through the urethra. And by now you have understood that the function of the nephron is really complicated. Let's see the same through schematic diagram. Dirty blood sent via the glomerulus where it gets separated. We have filtrate which contains waste materials and unfortunately the lots of useful materials in the tubule. It gets separated in the blood but it's incomplete blood right now because there's still lots of useful materials like glucose and amino acids are absent from the blood vessels. Through process of selective reabsorption, materials that is useful will be transferred back into the blood. We now got clean blood which completely got all of the useful things. Now this leaves behind in the tubule only the waste materials, and that the urea as well as the salts that are in excess of requirements, etc. This material is going to leave out of the body. Obviously, the blood which is now useful will go out of the kidney via renal vein and goes back into the circulation. Excretion in plants. Excretion in plants is much simpler than that of animals. Plants do not have any special organs for removal of waste. Gaseous excretory materials are eliminated by diffusion through the stomata. Many plants eliminate waste by the accumulation of waste in the vacuoles of the aging leaf cells. These leaves will eventually die and fall off, removing waste in the process. In some plants, waste products are stored as resins and gums in the old xylem. Have you ever noticed a sticky, milky or oily substance oozing out from the bark of the trees? These are excretory products stored in the old xylem. Plants also excrete some waste substances into the soil around them. In some plants, waste is in the form of calcium oxalate crystals called as raphides. These are needle-shaped and therefore hurt and cause itching. For example, colocasia leaves and the outer skin of the onion. Some plants' waste are very useful to human beings such as rubber, latex, gum, resins and essential oils like eucalyptus or sandalwood oil. Rubber latex is used to produce gloves. The hard transparent resins are principally used for varnishes and adhesives, while the softer resins and gum resins containing essential oils are more largely used for therapeutic purpose and incense.